The line of primes has failed, yet hope still remains. I offer a portion of my spark to take with you to the stars. For as long as it survives, so shall I. Will you accept this responsibility, Optimus Prime?
I will.
Behold, the Matrix of Leadership. Cybertron recognizes and welcomes Optimus Prime, Keeper of the Matrix, leader of the free Autobots.
Sup fellas, it's your favorite legend, nothing important here, and today we are celebrating Peter Cullen's birthday. The dude is 84 today. He was born in 1941. In honor of Peter Cullen, we're gonna send Optimus Prime through the Edge of Fate raid. Just so we're clear, we're gonna use two rules. Rule 1, I will only be discussing Koregos the Worldline. He's literally the strongest raid boss within the raid. Every other raid boss in the raid is weaker than him. It would be redundant to discuss all four. Second, I will be using Star Optimus Prime, as he's the strongest Optimus Prime variant. Optimus Prime from Age of the Primes dunks on all the primes, and Vector Prime's true form is relative to the Hytherian beast. Optimus Prime would stomp anything in verse that is not Primus or Unicron. Alright, that's the rules. Let's continue with the video. Alright, let's start off strong. How powerful is Koregos the Worldline? Well, his original purpose under Maya Sundaresh was to swap the golden age of one version of Maya with the golden age of the conductor so she can have her perfect golden age. That failed, so he was then shoved inside, 3. You know that digitization debuff you got? Koregos was gonna pull a FNAF sister location, freaking scoop that entire corner of unknown space, and throw it into the VexNet. For reference, this is equivalent to grabbing one of the Hive God's throne worlds and just throwing it into the VexNet as well. We're talking about being on the same level as Peak Oryx or one of the strongest worm gods right now. For the newcomers to the channel, which I'm gonna assume there's a lot of you, Koregos would be bare minimum high outer versal. If you want to lowball him, he would at least have to be outer versal, because unknown space is a conceptual space in its entirety. Unknown space is compared to throne worlds cosmologically, consistently even. The Vex that belong to Maya Sundaresh have the power of the Nine in that they're able to manipulate dark matter now. They also have a playbook of the rules of the Nine, so they have an understanding of time and space to an almost unmatched degree, only matched by the Nine themselves, which they're still adapting to. Koregos would have the ability to corrupt the opponent and assimilate them into the Vex Collective using the Vex Milk. He has the ability to erase you on the atomic level. He has the ability to remain impervious to most forms of damage if he's not vulnerable. He has subroutines dedicated purely to adaptation and defense alone, meaning he's very hard to push back in an assault. He has sentience in that he has free will or choice, so he can think for himself, which further influences his adaptation subroutines. He has conceptual manipulation, and he has the ability to move forward in time, or verbatim immeasurable speeds. His last ability is a mainstay of Vex powers, which is he has an incredible amount of summoning. He can summon many Vex at one time to the battlefield, which will relentlessly push forward, even if it's at the cost of their own lives. For Star Optimus Prime, I made a whole video on him alone as well, so if you want more details, check that one out. But for the Cliff Notes summary, he is the strongest aspect of the Arisen at present, so he has access to the Scepter of Sparks, which allows him to use all the other powers of the Primes, including abilities from Prima, Megatronus, Vector Prime, Onyx Prime, as well as the other primes. Optimus Prime has the Eldritch Lens, which allows him to deduce all that's in front of him, whether it's physical or metaphysical. You could be conceptual or a whole freaking narrative. He will deduce your existence and he will find the weaknesses in which he can defeat you with. There's nowhere you can hide once the Eldritch Lens come into play. He has access to the Requiem Blaster, and tied to that is Megatronus' concept, which is entropy. Entropy as a concept swallows all that's in front of it and reduces it into atoms. Not even that, until there's not even anything left. The Requiem Blaster is the personification of this power Megatronus has. Optimus also has the time capabilities of Vector Prime, whether he can see forward in the future or teleport in time. At the same time, pun intended, Optimus can also stop time. It's also worth noting that Alpha Trion has some form of time powers, so Optimus would have those as well, although Alpha Trion's abilities are not emphasized as often, because Alpha Trion himself is mostly really smart, but he can write anything into reality with a book and quill. Prima, the leader of the primes, represents the concept of life and creation. Prima is the direct child of Primus, as he was intended to be as the wielder of the Star Saber, which is powered by the Matrix of Leadership. The Star Saber is the strongest of all artifacts Optimus has in his possession. The Star Saber is able to outright ignore durability. Even invulnerability cannot get around the Star Saber. In fact, all of space and time itself is cleaved from existence, split in two. Optimus Prime constantly receives guidance either from the Primes or from the Matrix directly. In fact, Optimus Prime became Star Optimus Prime by following the guidance of the Matrix to the point that he eventually became one with the Zodiac power and became the strongest Prime in all of Transformers. There's a lot I haven't described with Optimus Prime, but the long and short of it is he is over 100 feet tall, of menace. Moving on to Optimus Prime versus Koregos, who do I think wins? Optimus Prime is relative to Koregos physically, but has a wider range of powers, better battle tactics, is way older, and he has more information analysis through not only the Matrix but all the other primes, including Alpha Trion, who all the other primes refer to when they have questions. Even Time and Space Prime himself, Vector, goes to Alpha Trion to learn stuff. Optimus Prime will understand right away to simply use his matter manipulation to rewrite the state of Koregos' invulnerability to remove it outright. And then he can simply go for fatal attacks using the Star Saber or the Requiem Blaster. It's also worth noting that Optimus Prime is larger than Koregos, so between the two, Optimus is likely stronger, seeing how they're very relative in stats. Because Optimus can simply grab Koregos and rewrite his atomic state, as well as his quantum state, he can simply just keep holding on to Koregos and say turn him into a frog, or turn him into a cloud or something. Not only that, but the Forge of Solus Prime would allow him to do a lot of blunt force damage to the Vex, and Vex do not respond well to blunt damage. In fact, the favored form of damage against the Vex is typically swords or explosives, or even melee weapons such as throwing hammers. Last and not least, the Vex's ability to control time is kind of their main selling point. Optimus Prime has better time powers than Koregos. There is nowhere left for Koregos to run. He simply loses this fight low to mid diff. Anyway, if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. That would be amazing, because you guys are the greatest. Anyway, happy birthday, Peter Cullen, and have a wonderful day.